Hey guys, welcome back. We're gonna jump into a Joker inspired look. So go ahead and prime the face with my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Primer Water, and also using my NYX Do Me Up Skin Serum and Primer. Love this stuff. This is the first time I was using it. Definitely made my face nice and plump and ready for some dramatic makeup for sure. Super, super yummy. Alright. Then we're going to jump into some Anastasia Beverly Hills DipBrow Palmade for my eyebrows for this look. And we're going to actually use a Louise Base for an eyeshadow primer. So this is going to help the eyeshadow stay on and really just create a smooth canvas for the colors to go on and blend really, really well and stay super good. So I'm using just a small little blending sponge and blending that out on the eyelid, and as well as underneath a little bit, because this look does call for shadow on the under eye. So as you can see, Kainoa is making an appearance in this video, so you'll see him jumping around in the back. Alright, moving into the shadow, we're going to use the Morphe James Charles palette. This was my first time using this palette, and it is absolutely stunning. I had to actually go out and buy it for myself. Well, actually my husband bought it for me, but I needed it in my collection. And for the price, I thought it was really good. So I'm taking that purple shade, and that purple shade is actually the shade Single, and I'm taking it with a big fluffy brush, and I'm blending that into the crease, making sure it's nice and big, because I really want this look to be extra. It is a Halloween look, so we need a little extra, just to keep it going. So I'm blending that in the eye and the crease, making sure it's all even and nicely pigmented throughout the crease area. So go ahead and take it and do the other eye now. So again, with that same shade, doing the other eye. A trick I can say is using back and forth sweeping motions. That helps blend the product out really well, especially for that crease area. You can start by packing it on the spot you want and blending it right and left, back and forth, whatever you want to call it, in the crease to kind of just get that nice smoked out look. Making sure they're both even on each side. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the crease color. That's going to be used as our transition shade. So after that, we're going to go in with a different shade. The shade that we're going to be using is the one right next to it, and it's called Escape. It's just a deeper purple, and with the flat, fluffier brush, it's not fluffier than that one, but it's pretty fluffy. I'm going to pack that in on the lid itself, right underneath, lines up with where I blended that last shade. But I'm not really using a back and forth motion. I'm more using a patting motion on the eyelid itself to pack that color in, as you can see. So I'll go ahead and do the other eye with that same motion, patting it in right in that eye area. So now I'm actually using, I put on some e.l.f. Eyeshadow strips. They're like $3. These are super awesome to make sure that you get a really sleek look on the eye, and none of the fallout kind of gets right there. So yeah, that's what I did. So then I'm actually cutting the crease. I go back in with that P. Louise base, and with a flat concealer brush, I am marking on my eyelid. And then you'll see in a second as I look up, and this is going to give me an idea of how high, there you go, you see that? How high I want the eyeshadow base to be. So go ahead and do that and kind of blend it in and make sure it's nice and blended out. But again, that light into that center area so we can pop a fun shimmery shade on it. So for the James Charles palette, there is two different ones. You can get the full-sized one, which is going to be $39, or the mini one is what I got, and it's $26. And I think it's a great deal for these fun shades. I'm not going to use it every single day, obviously, so I think it will last a while. So now I'm going to take the shade Social Blade. It's a really shimmery purple, super pretty. I'm going to use my finger, and I'm just going to blot that on the eyelid. I prefer using a finger for shimmer shadows like this, so I can press the product really good in to the eyelid. I feel like brushes sometimes take away from the shimmery part, so I prefer a real good shimmer. My goodness, look at my little boy in his hat. Showing off for the camera. Alright. So, next we're gonna take this really pretty champagne color. I will list it below. I did not prepare ahead of time for this shade. I forgot I used this. But I just popping that in the inner parts of the eyes. Again, just using my finger and blending it out really nicely. I also go in with a brush and do the under the eyebrow area. Same shade, just doing that nicely underneath the brow bone. Give it a little more shimmer and lighten that area back up. Alright, so you always want to make sure it's even on both sides, like always. So I go ahead and just make sure that they're blended nicely. I go back in with that first brush that I used for the crease, and I'm just blending out the edges, making sure it's all nice and blended and the color is even throughout the crease area. There's nothing like blotchy or anything like that. And this is where I love those eye tapes for, is you can really blend that outer area, so when you take off that piece of tape, it's a real sharp, clean line. Okay, so now we're moving into the face. We're gonna go in with the CoverGirl True Matte Made Foundation. I did this in my live video last week on my Facebook page, and that was my first time trying the product, and I actually really like it. I do feel like it is pretty transfer proof, as it claims on the bottle. As far as the shade goes, it's a light honey, and I've never really worn a light honey, but I feel like it really works, and as of right now anyway, for my skin tone. So just blended that all over the face with a space sponge, and moving into eyeliner, we're going to use the NYX Matte Liquid eyeliner. Again, that's what these tapes really help for too, is for eyeliner. You can just use it as a guide for your wing. And that's pretty much all I do, is I align the eyelid and bring it out, follow the line of the tape, and you'll get a really nice, easy cat eye look with the liner, as you can see. Super pretty and very easy and nice for beginners. So I'm going back in with some more concealer, just blending out some spots that I feel like needed a little extra. I'm sorry, not concealer, my foundation, the leftover foundation that I had. Just making sure it's nice and blended on that spot where I had those tapes, and right underneath the eyes where I always crease. And yeah, so next we're gonna go into the LA Girl. This is actually a PRO.color foundation mixing pigment in the shade white. So these are really cool. I'm going to ahead and highlighting some areas, kind of like how a clown face would look. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm using my Morphe sponge for this one. I prefer the edges on that versus the e.l.f. sponge I did for my all over face. So I know I'm going to do some kind of triangles around my eyes, so that's why I kind of did those rounded areas around my eyes. And then for the jawline, I kind of want to just lighten up that area and make it look really sharp, so I add that white kind of as a contour to lighten up that area. Now I'm going back into the James Charles palette with the white shade, the shade Flashback, that's what it's called, and I am packing that in and kind of setting down that white foundation mixing pigment. Then I go in with a e.l.f. brush, really to define that area, and I use more of that pigment, that white pigment, and I just outline, kind of get a sharper edge as to how I want it, and then use that small little sponge that I used to set my eye base, and blending it in and making sure it's nice and even, both sides. So this is a Halloween look, like I've said. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect. That's the fun part about it. Especially when it's all said and done, it's gonna look great when it comes all together, just like my last look that I did. Alright, so yeah. Next we're gonna go back into that palette with a small little rounded brush. I'm gonna take the black shade in the palette, and that is shade Spooky. And I'm gonna start carving out how I want this triangle clown design to look. I don't know what that really is called. So I'm starting from kind of where my eyebrow arches, and I'm just building up that color slowly and making sure that I like the shape that it's gonna be. And I'm just mixing kind of. I started off with just the spooky color, but I actually mixed the brown shade in it too. So I'm kind of going back and forth in the pans between spooky and Benny and blending that out. And yeah, focusing it kind of like on the arch of my eyebrow. Upper arch of my eyebrow. That's what I was trying to say. Bear with me, guys. This is actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be to do voiceovers. I stumble over my words a bunch. Anyway, so what I did there is I took the NYX same eyeliner that I used on my eye to kind of outline, just to make it a little more crisp looking. And that's all I'm doing is outlining what I just did with the shadow. And then I take that little brush again, the same shadow brush, and kind of smudge it in, lining up the line exactly with the product, kind of making sure it all blends together nicely. That's all I'm doing. And then I add those cute little dots, little circles, and I'm just going over the circle with the same shadow, spooky, and just making sure it's super blended out and even. And crisp looking. The lines don't look just like shadows. It looks like it kind of comes to a point, but again, yes, just as blended as I can do it. So again, just doing that to the other eye now, lining it nice and good, and there's that. So that's how I did the top part. Honestly, I really just winged this. I did not have an idea how this was going to turn out. I just went for it and hoped that it turned out okay. So same with the bottom, that's what I'm going to do. So I kind of start in the center of the eye, same brush, same colors that I used for the top part. I cleaned it off a little bit. And I kind of start from where my pupils are and working my way outwards. So in the center of my eye, I started to pack on some color and kind of draw how I want the triangle to be, how thin I want it to be. And there's my little guy again, back in the room, messing around. I think he's just telling me, oh, look, I can see myself. He loves to see himself in videos. It's so funny. So I'm taking that eyeliner again, outlining it, and then with the brush, smudging it out, making sure it's nice and blended as always. I can't count how many times I'm going to say blended or blend in this video. It's ridiculous. So if you're wondering who that lovely lady in the back is, that's my girl M. She's actually the reason I was able to do this look, because I did not have any colorful palette. So she came to the rescue, letting me use her James Charles palette and some of her Morphe brushes. And yeah, she kind of just came in to hang out with me while I filmed this look. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking that dark shape, the purple one, Escape, and I'm smudging that on the bottom lower lash line, just to blend what from the bottom all the way up to the top. So I know the angle is not the best, you can't see, that's why I'm trying to show you after each step kind of where the look is headed. So next we're going into some bronzer. I'm going to use my Milani bronzer. It's amazing. Go ahead and take that and just kind of bronze where you normally would bronze. I'm actually just like shaping out the face now. Since I added that white, I'm kind of putting the bronzer everywhere the white is not, just to give my face somewhat of a shape again and make sure that it's really dramatic. So I'm actually doing a lot of bronzer, like I'm really working it in. But you know, Halloween is a time to literally make yourself into a clown with your makeup. So that's what I'm doing. Then I decided I needed some color back in the eyes. I mean, I love the purple, but I just really wanted that Joker kind of feel, and purple and green really reminds me of Joker. So I went in with some green shadows. The green shadows that I used are, I don't think I have that colors written down either. I'm gonna have to write that again. But I just took the two green shades in the palette and I mixed them. I'm going back and forth in the pan and just kind of taking it from the bottom side all the way around the purple and then going into the inner highlight part, but not bringing it all the way down. I'm kind of just entering it like right above where you would put an inner highlight pop, and just blending that green out. So he kind of gives it some more dimension and some color back into it, because I felt like it was kind of washed out with all the purple. It kind of blended together, really contrasting it with the green, purple, and the black on the eyes. So yeah, that's what I decided to do. I'm also kind of bringing that green down on the sides of the triangular on the bottom part, just like really smudging it out, making sure it looks nice and even. So we're gonna do some blush. I'm actually using eyeshadow for blush because it's super pigmented. I took those two pink shades, and those are called Pinkity, Drinkity, and Skip. And I blended those out with an e.l.f. blush brush. I like it because it's kind of pointed and kind of you're able to do that really circle look, which goes great for a clown look, I think. So that's why I think it worked great. And then I go in with some highlighter. Yeah, girl. Clowns can be fabulous too. So I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sugar Glow Kit, and I mixed them together and I just applied that. We're doing some lashes. We're using the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise mascara and adding on some falsies. So these actually, I do not remember where I got them. They have been sitting in my bathroom forever because, as you can tell, they're very, very big and dramatic, and I could not see myself wearing those on a daily basis or anything, but they were perfect for this look. So I popped those on for you guys. And now we're gonna do the mouth part. Joker is notorious for his gross red smudged mouth. I don't know if it's supposed to be lipstick or blood or maybe a little bit of both, but we're gonna try to achieve that look today. So I started with just some Sephora. It's a collection from Sephora. It's cream lip stain in the shade Always Red, and I just did the lips and kind of drew a little line at the corners of my eyes, not eyes, at the corners of my lips. And then I go in with some red shadow from the palette, same palette, and I'm using the shades You're Kidding and Rusted. And I'm just really dusting that on top of the lips, and then as you can see, I'm taking it and bringing that outward. Instead of just using the whole liquid cream lipstick and smudging it out, I didn't want it to be super, super intense. I wanted it to blend and look kind of just old and smudged, and that's how I got that effect by using the eyeshadow instead of the liquid liner, as a liquid liner. So I'm going back in and I'm just really defining the lip shape now, back with that color, and I just really wanted like pointy, kind of nasty looking lips, because that's like what it's supposed to look like, I feel like. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I added some shape back into the lips, smudged it all out, making sure it's blended nicely. Again, the word blended. And yeah, that's pretty much my Joker inspired look, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you got any good ideas, and like, share, and subscribe. See you guys next week for my Monday video.